The woman who accused 3 former Duke lacrosse players of rape in 2006 is now coming forward with the truth. Crystal Magnum admitted on a podcast that she lied about the accusations. She is currently in prison for murdering her boyfriend. For more on this, let's bring in former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker. Nicole, so good to see you. I'm glad we're talking about this. First, I want folks to hear from Crystal Magnum. Take a listen.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me.
Nicole, there's just so much to say on this when there's a false accusation of rape. And can I just get your response?
Well, when I was an FBI agent, I myself worked sexual assault cases on a regular basis. I was in charge of crimes on the high seas out of the Miami division. So I operated all of the crimes on the high seas on cruise ships. Believe it or not, there are many, many allegations of sexual assault on those cruise ships. And there is one thing that I always said when I would go speak to individuals: you cannot lie about this. This is a very, very serious allegation. And you know, as an FBI agent, lying is a Title 18 U.S. Code 1001. Lying to an agent is a federal crime. And this individual, she lied back in 2006. And you know what that does? That destroys people's lives. It destroys their reputations. And although it was later discovered that it was not true, there was no credible evidence, there was no DNA, the interviews led to nothing. The damage that you can do to someone's reputation when you make that serious of an allegation really cannot be undone. And so I find it quite unconscionable that someone would do that, but sadly, it happens a lot. And so the difficult part is she's not going to be charged for lying because that statute of limitation has expired.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, there's just no relief for these. I mean, these players were dragged through the mud. And it's not just this false accusation. The DA at the time, who ultimately was disbarred, withheld critical DNA information. Listen to what Trey Gowdy had to say on that.
What a horrible day for our justice system to have a prosecutor willing to withhold exculpatory evidence. That is not what prosecutors do. I'm glad she finally had a come to Jesus moment. It was just a couple of decades too late.
Okay, so you know, he had to say what he had to say, and I think just a lot of people agree. This whole thing is just heartbreaking, but I do want to move on while I have you here to the murder of Brian Thompson, the UnitedHealthcare CEO, because we do know that the suspect here, Mangione, he waived his right to extradition, but there's a hearing on Tuesday, and here's DA Alvin Bragg on that.
The defendant may waive, but that waiver is not complete until a court proceeding, which my understanding from court officials in Pennsylvania cannot happen until Tuesday. So until that time, we're going to continue to press forward on parallel paths, and we'll be ready whether he is going to waive extradition or whether he's going to contest extradition.
So initially he said he was going to waive it, and now you have this hearing, and the DA makes it sound like it's up in the air still. What are your thoughts?
Well, initially, you know, he went to court. He said, I am not going to waive this extradition. And now it seems that he's probably had some conversations with his attorney and they have made that decision. But again, it has to be formalized in a court setting. And so that's going to be happening next week. But one thing that I find very fascinating as this case is unfolding is that the FBI knew about this individual because the San Francisco Police Department had given them a tip. There was actually a wanted poster, a missing poster from the mother who had filed a missing report with San Francisco Police Department on November 18th. The San Francisco Police Department then contacts the FBI, the Violent Crime Task Force, which I actually was a member of that in the South Florida region. And then they actually interviewed her the night before her son was arrested. And they said, you know, is this your son? And she said, he strongly resembles my son. But she didn't come out and say that she completely was confident that it was her son. And then the next day, he's arrested. And they're saying that the NYPD did not know about it because the FBI hadn't provided that information yet to them. I would like to know which violent crime task force it was that interviewed the mother. Was it the one from New York or was it the one in San Francisco? Because if it was the one in New York, there should be members of NYPD on that task force. Again, I would like to understand why the FBI did not give that tip immediately. To have a conversation with his mother, I would think that would merit a phone call immediately, Sunday night, I don't care what time of the day, to say, look, this is the intel that we got. But again, I think more information will come out as the investigation continues. It kind of trickles out as we learn. But this is a very, very disturbing situation, very, very tragic, and I pray that justice is served.
Yeah, and a lot of people are wondering why we haven't heard more from the family, but we will see. Nicole Parker, so glad to have you on here and help us sort all this out. Have a good one.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.